es la inspiración que se le presenta al oyente que escucha para que pueda configurar un escenario propio. Es un género totalmente libre en su construcción.
Radio art is the invitation that we make to the receiver,
the radio listener.
Los ingredientes con los que vamos a trabajar son los elementos del lenguaje. Música, con efectos, con la voz, y con el silencio.
There is no rigid diagram or structure that allow us to design radio art. You're listening to The Noise of the Message.
Para una mejor escucha, recomendamos el uso de auriculares.
Hello? Just don't know why I can't see it. Video starting. There. Hi.
You? Cheers.
I'm good. Finally, it's getting a little bit warmer. It was really bad weather. And how are you in Argentina or in Chile? Or where are you?
I am Franco.
Yeah.
I am in Argentina.
I'm in Argentina. Nice.
And Gerardo is in Santiago, Chile.
Ah, yeah, cool.
Hello. Nice to meet you, Gudrun.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Okay.
So here we are then.
What is the importance of noise and silence in your work, in your life, in your artist?
Yeah.
Curatorial process in your life, for example?
It's a good question. Noises was always there. Like we always try to include, because we're not a classical, I don't want to do classical music, which I think is kind of really historical music. it's all in our music, in my music, I always want to reflect the present, and I think noise is part of that. So I always included in very first band, even with Mania D and Dina Tespe as well, we included noise in the compositions. It was always a big part of it, but not only. It's very important, and I lost a little bit of interest in noise after Neubauten got so successful. I didn't want to, I kept it a little bit out of the work, but now I'm getting more noisy and noisier. I love noise. But then the aspect of silence, that's something really interested in now, actually. This combination of, because I tend to, when I do tracks, I tend to overload it with information, it's just too full. And I really like it better when it's more minimal, when it's less. And I was inspired by this. I mean, it's not Cage really what inspired me, but I saw this movie, Little Things, yeah. And the film music was fantastic, and it was super sparse and really nearly silent, just like this one instrument giving full blast. And I got really inspired by it to kind of take more silence in the composition, make it part of it. I think it's really good. That's what I'm planning for the next. But in general, what I really love is bass. I love the body feeling of a good bass. I love that. That's my favorite. More than noise. Noise is too heady, and the bass is like in the body, and I think that's cool.
Wonderful. Wow. The bass is almost the silence in the sound.
No. It's not so friendly, yeah. It's more like,
only the body can feel it.
Yeah, I like that. Would you do that? Would be nice if you do it as a moderator. But I can quickly say my name is Gudrun Gut, and I'm in the music since 1980, I think, or 79. And my first band was Dina Tespe, then was Mania D with Beate Bartel and Bettina Köster, and then Malaria with Bettina Köster, Manon Pedosma, Christina Hahn, and Susanne Kuhnke, and sometimes Kali. And then I started, then we had another band, Matador, with Beate Bartel and Manon Pedosma. Then in 91, I think, I started a project with Myra Davis, a spoken word and music. I did the music. And then I had 95, did a kind of a solo record with lots of friends, which was called Members of the Oceanclub. And we had an Ocean Club in Berlin as well, in the Tresor, plus then later a radio show for Radio 1. I was a radio presenter as well for more than 10 years. together with Thomas Fehlmann, and we had lots of nice guests too. And at the same year, I started my label Monika Enterprise. Already did the Moabit music before, so I do label work, very indie kind of orientated. And Monika Enterprise, the label, is more orientated on female artists. And Moabit was more like spoken word and the re-releases of Malaria and then some other stuff. 2007, I put my second solo album, but they all say it's my first because I didn't have any guests. So it's kind of was called I Put a Record On, and then like a second solo album. Next one was Wildlife, and then now Moment, and now I have. Last year I did lots of concerts, blah 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 blah. Did the label as well, and then lots of other collaborations with other artists. I mean, it's a long history. It's like how many years? It's a lot of time. So now, I did a TV series here. It's called Gut. It's about me and my dreams and my reality and my music. And I co-directed it with Heiko Lange. And the soundtrack just came out because I did the soundtrack during the filming. Yeah, that's kind of the latest stuff.
I was thinking about what you said. I was considering the idea of approaching this as handwriting, mostly in a time when many of us have almost forgot how to write. I mean, using your hands.
That's true.
Yeah, I was thinking about why you call it handwriting instead of texting, for example.
No, because just an expression in German, die Handschrift, the handwriting of an artist, that's maybe it's not an expression in Latin America, but in German we have like you see for paintings as well, when you see a painting and you think, oh, that's from him, because there is a handwriting in it, like not the writing of him, but more like this is an expression in German. The Handschrift, die Handschrift eines Künstlers. Or like a writer as well, it's not actually the writing, it's more the little things which go together where you recognize them. I mean, a lot of like bands, artists in music, I do recognize most of them. I hear and think, oh, this is that, or this is that, because of the handwriting. This is just an expression.
Well, it's wonderful. And were you looking for that in your work previously? Because it seems that if you have such a wide range of interests and you have embraced all of them so fluently and so fluidly, is it because you have a concept of art or an idea or an intuition concerning how this expression in art frames should be like?
I guess so. I know what you mean. I think because I touched different grounds, I was more in a band, but I'll give you an example. I listened to the Emotion album from Malaria, which is done in 82, I think, finished the recordings. It's ages ago. And we remastered the album and I listened to it again. And I thought that my solo work, it's not the band because the band was fantastic, but like from a lot of angles, I'm still like doing this kind of stuff, but it's just like in a different genre or something. I thought it was very surprising for me to hear it and then recognize myself in it too, because I think the past always goes with you. And those were very important years for me, and then, I'm still the same. So it's I think it has there's similarities.
It's like saying we're the same ones and we're different from the way we were 20 or 30 years ago, but...
We were different, but still we are the same. I remember my mother shortly before she died, sometimes she was really like a child, like really nice and fresh and everything, like always. But then at the same time, she's much, 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 much older. But it's kind of, there is this little child in every one of us. We are always kind of the same in a way. There's a core which is always the same. Yeah. So, but I mean, Malaria was like a cool, really great band, and they were very, like Susanne did great synthesizer work, and Manon great guitar work, and Bettina is a fantastic vocalist. I'm never close to that. And Christina had really good ideas. So it was like 5-girl band, so that's a bit different to my solo work, but still I can see myself in it. And me and Bettina were very, we kind of formed the structure of the band as well, so kind of, it all makes a little sense.
Wonderful, thanks so much. Dele, compañero.
I'm always experimenting, and I don't like to repeat myself much, but I am sound. I don't know if I am sound, but I think I have a handwriting, yeah. I developed artistic handwriting. I would call it that. I think so. I mean, yeah. I mean, should be, after all these years. I don't like, when I do new tracks, I always want to try something a little bit, which I did. I want to go paths where I haven't been before. I get bored so easily, and I don't want to be bored with my own work. So, and nowadays, you don't make any money making music. So the freedom is much bigger to just do whatever you want to do. That's my approach to it.
Yes, really nice. Gerardo.
moving and everything is changing, not to the best. And that's one major horror. But we have like one problem. All the nice little hilly kind of green stuff they're going to put solar panels on it.
Oh.
It's going to be covered in solar, but we can't even use it. Fuck. And it looks ugly like hell.
Okay, yeah, we're facing things of that sort here in the north, something in the south, because of these windmills. We're trying to place in Chiloé.
I have windmills too.
Which is an island.
They do like big shadows. I mean, I have nothing against natural energy, but, find a nice kind of balance. I don't want to destroy nature because of energy needs.
Yeah.
It's kind of too much. Leave a little bit, please. Because the windmills, great on some points, but nowadays, if you travel to the countryside, it's windmills, windmills, all over. It's not so beautiful. And the poor birds.
I was wondering concerning that, it came to my mind the experience you had living in West Berlin during the 70s and 80s.
90s, 0 years, all.
How much did the city change when the wall was destroyed?
Yeah, totally. But it was actually before the wall came down, Berlin got a little very not so interesting. Beginning of the 80s was really cool, but then it got a little boring. And I was thinking of leaving the city, but then the wall came down, and then like suddenly, the city was double the size, and all this. So it was, and then thousands of new clubs, new people, and a really positive energy, from all this reunification, lots of new people, and it was fantastic. So I thought, okay, Berlin did something, I have to stay, And it was always something why I never left the city. It's just the best city in the world, I think. One of the best. I love Buenos Aires too. Buenos Aires is one of my favorite. I like Los Angeles very much. And there are lots of cities I kind of like. But Berlin is, for me, because of the language and view on culture, I really like it. There's always lots of underground, lots of independent political left-wing statements, and people who live in Berlin, they are working on the city. They try to change it all the time too. They are involved in the city. And that's really good, I think. So, and it was very cool when the wall came down. I really enjoyed it because suddenly, it was much bigger. And then 10 years later, I discovered the Umland. We call it Umland because I was so used to have the wall around the city. When we went on holidays, we didn't go, we always went all over the world, somewhere, or, when we play. And then 10 years after the wall came down, I realized that there is an Umland, or 15 years after, I think, around, because now I'm living, it's 100 kilometers north of Berlin. It's like, we call it Umland, all which is around Berlin. And I never saw it before. I just ignored it because I was so used to living in a shielded city. It's really weird. I really like the East Berlin, East Germany. I have a fable for all ex-communist countries. Kind of, except Russia is now a little bit of a problem. Wie Musik, wie Machen, wie Männer. Wie Mania D, wie Malaria, wie APERTURA. Wie Monoton, wie Mode, wie Manon.
Going back to this variety of interests, how was your relationship with music when you were a child? Did you have any, were you interested in everything at the same time? How was it?
When I was a child, me and my sister, I grew up with my sister, and my father had this recording thing, the Tonband. What is this?
A reel-to-reel recorder.
Reel-to-reel recorder. And we could, it was a little fuck that we could use it because, I'm old. So, and we both did little radio plays on it and stuff. I know that we did some experiments with it. And then my grandmother, she used to play the piano. And I really liked her. Actually, there's a really nice story from her. She used to live in West Germany, in Ruhrgebiet, near Cologne, in this area. And the neighbors knocked at her window at night in the evening and said, "Anna, open your window, we want to dance." And then she played the piano, opened the window, and the people were dancing in the street. It's so funny, I think, with the piano. I think that's great. And she forced us to learn an instrument. She was a very cultural kind of woman. So I first the flute, my sister melodica, and then I learned I didn't want to do the piano because my cousin did it. And then I learned the accordion, the accordion. And I think that was really good because it helped me later playing the drums, because you have to coordinate the rhythm plus, it's a multitasking thing, and it's nice, yeah. And then I think this is the first I played. When I started in bands, I really didn't want to be like the perfect musician at all. So I played these toy instruments and stuff. It was more about sounds than being an instrumentalist. And when I played drums too, I was good at holding the rhythm and I never had a drum teacher or anything, so I just had an idea how I wanted the drums to sound, this kind of thing. And actually, I'm just drifting apart from the values. I went to Lima like a couple of years ago, 7 years ago or something. And because I used to play drums, there was this drum group, women, like a big group. And they met in this football stadium and outside, and then they were rehearsing this kind of march with drums, with big drums. And I was allowed to be part of them. Oh, it was so difficult because the rhythms and how they move at the same time. For me, it was really I thought I'm easy. No, I have one drum, I can do it. I could do the drum, but I couldn't do the movement at the same time with it. It was just really difficult. Latin groups, oh man. And all the ladies, they were really doing it. And I was a stiff German. It was very embarrassing.
You were performing the stereotype. These Andean rhythms are very complex. It's not this African complexity or this polyrhythmic complexity. It's a matter of where to count and how to change between counts. So
yeah, I know.
That's the tricky part.
Yeah.
I have a friend that plays in this kind of group.
It was so much fun.
Yes.
Yeah, in this group, it was very mixed, like there were women from some rich women, some super poor, cleaning ladies, everything, they're from all over, and they all loved it, and then they were really doing it fantastic. And it was because playing drums, that's why I love playing drums. It is it gives you so much power. It's really a strong instrument. I love it.
Okay, thank you.
Here it says that drums are related to the beating of the heart.
Absolutely. It is a real body thing. It's a very good. And then my other little Leidenschaft, passion, was more like the head thing. It's like the synthesizers and stuff. So I'm pretty good with techniques. So I'm always easy learning technical stuff because my father left my mother and we grew up only with my mother, my sister, my mother and me. And she was helpless with technique. And so me and my sister did all the techniques in the house because we had to. So for us, it's pretty normal. And that really helped. My sister now, she works as an video editor as well, in the technique field. So we both are pretty easygoing with it.
Wow, fantastic.
And now I mostly work with electronics.
Il rumore, qual era non mi ricordo più.
Il rumore è il messaggio.
Il rumore è il messaggio.
Il rumore è il messaggio.
You create a record label to promote female artists.
Yeah.
Why you did that?
Oh, that was a very egoistic approach.
Okay.
Yeah, because I am a female artist and there was no outlet. You know, all the other labels just signed male artists. I'm really happy that it's a bit different, but, you know, I'm talking about independent record labels. And because of the radio show as well, I looked at my record collection one day and I said, my God, all these records are just made by male. There's we had lots of records. We have lots of records. You know, put all the female together and it was just like this. And all the room was filled with a male artist. And I thought there's something wrong. Because, you know, when I was at school, in the music class and in art, the girls were better than the boys. So what happened? You know, mostly, you know, they're really woman and art. It's not something, you know, you should do or something. So there must have been some obstacles which were and I thought, okay, so I'm just forgetting this. I'm just doing the label mostly focusing on female. Because I'm interested to hear this voice too. So it inspires me. I love male music too. I go to a lot of concerts by male musicians. But, you know, when I see a female artist, it mostly you know, I immediately think, oh, she's doing this and this and this. You know, kind of, it inspires me more. It's directly inspiring me to make it, to see myself and her as in concurrence. It's weird. I don't have it with male, but I have it with female. So it's a pretty egoistic decision to do a label for female artists. And political as well. It's both.
I think that it's really fair that...
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. That's why I did it.
Because the music business, the industry, was created by males to males person.
Yeah.
So the percent of the male artists, even in our small piece of cake, that's the experimental music, it's made by males. Gerardo and me, we are males, interviewing, for example, a female artist.
I know. I mean, I have nothing against male, but I think it's a big gap there. But it's not that women don't work in the music industry. They have all the promotion jobs and stuff. There are lots of jobs by females, but not the boss. The boss is mostly, you know, decision making is still a very male subject. But I wanted to change that.
Yeah, it's okay. In this radio program, I started Noise Message in 2011. Mm-hmm. The main thing that crossed to my mind at this moment when I start to the idea, interview female artists, because when I open my agenda, I want to promote artists, but male. I'm sorry, I
know.
I work in radio station since my 15 years old, and always the business always was by males. And if you have 10 artists, experimental artists, at least 9 are males. So at this moment, I need to do something different and something fair, because this not work.
Yeah.
And we have, I think, 300 at least interview to female artists.
Oh, super cool. That's fantastic.
So
the sound set for the mixing desks and the sonic design for venues is mostly male generated within male patterns and male boundaries. And it seems that there's a difference in approaching sound and music, which have been noticeable when you started accessing the media and accessing these tools in a sort of more even even possibility. Do you agree with that or not? Are we just romanticizing some stuff?
I don't know if it's a big difference. It's just like, I couldn't say if it's like really, if women do different music than men. I guess they do, but that's for me not the point. For me, it's more like, it's a equal pay for everybody kind of, It's like, some male are more female than male, and there's this mixture, this non-binary, and there's trans people and all this. So there's just like, I think we all should have the same rights in this society. This is kind of really important for me. And then I don't think it has to be so different to be acknowledged as important. I think it should be just there. And then, because it's still like, not so many female or other voices, so we can't even say what's the difference. There can be like girls who are really macho, really hard, and really soft. A male can be really soft as well. So I don't know if there's a big difference. It doesn't really interest me. I don't know.
It's wonderful to hear that, because that's supposed to be the plan. Equal share for everybody, equal access.
Yeah.
And sometimes the exploitation of these differences made us sort of miss a point.
Yeah.
Which is finally expressing yourself through music and sound.
Absolutely.
From the way you consider it. And change and all this passage into something different in Russia mostly was influenced by this post-capitalist view and approach, and that's what it has been almost maintaining this crisis or this state of alarm. And
horrible.
That's the reason why I wanted to ask you about that, because it's not the same as watching it from afar and from abroad, that being able to attend, not because of this myth of the places where history happens, but because of the feelings involved in people that live there.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, I met a Scottish musicologist, Jem Furley, and she was there with a German musicologist, Peter Wicke, at the exact moment when they were tearing down the wall.
Oh, good.
And they went to their, it's noon here. That's the reason for that sound. In some other areas in the city, they throw a cannonball. That's a tradition that comes from 15-something when the Spanish cavalry arrived here. And it's one of the few things that have been kept from that period, because with this sort of moving affairs, everybody's switching buildings and tearing buildings down and building up new ones. So this sense of history is sort of affected by that movement, because it seems that even everything changes like in a 6-month slot. And that's something that people traveling notices a lot.
Yeah, things are changing a lot. But then I'm a very stubborn kind of personality, and I don't change very much, and I don't like changes so much. Actually, I like it better if it's... But this is how it is. Things are changing. But talking about like the situation in the East Germany is a little bit, when the reunification, they call it, was not so much in favor for the East. It was more like, in favor for the West. But they didn't see it. I remember there was when the wall was down, our president, Mr. Kohl, was in town in Berlin, which before he couldn't dare come into Berlin because everybody hated him. We never saw him because, he was kind of gone, actually. Nobody liked him anymore. But then his moment came with the wall coming down. And he had a speech at Kudam, at the Gedächtniskirche, and I was there by accident. I said, oh, Mr. Kohl is holding a speech. And there was lots of people, blah, blah, blah. And then he was saying, we all going to be equal in 10 years, it's all going to be this. And I thought, he's kind of nuts, it's impossible. And I was, boo! And the people nearly killed me, all the others, because they wanted to believe this. It was bullshit. I mean, it was obvious bullshit. But people, who were mostly from the East, they wanted to hear that. And so, problem, because they really wanted to have some freedom and some, they had enough. It didn't work out. Most people in East Berlin I met, it's like before too, they were not so happy with the system. It didn't work. So, but in the end, and now we have a problem in Germany that, especially in East Germany, there is a lot of right-wing movement, big right-wing stuff going, like all over Europe, all over the world, I think, America, oh God, this horrible Trump. That's a problem, I think. But I don't know how this is gonna come. Let's not talk politics.
But I'm so glad that you touched on that. Weeks ago, I read an interview to an Argentinian musician, or non-musician, as he defines himself, Daniel Melero, and he said that...
Non-musician?
Yeah, he co-opted this Brian Eno self-definition, non-musician.
Nice. That's what we are too. Yeah.
Great, lovely. And he said that every record was an opinion. And because of that, every record has political value.
Yeah.
Even if it says, I don't want to talk about politics, which it seems to be the most political statement anyone can say. How do you feel about that? Do you consider your records an opinion?
Oh, yeah.
I think they are. Not just because of the records themselves, but also because of the approach.
Yeah, I think they are. I think they are. But I mean, daily politics. As an artist, I don't see myself jumping into daily politics because I'm more like transcending it, unequalness and wishes and stuff, It's much more, I see myself more, I think I love politics in arts, but not too obvious, if it's like, I just read it on the news, why do you make art of it? It has to be a little bit more sophisticated, that's where an artist, he has to go forward, in my opinion. Because political art was very popular in communism as well. Hartfield and stuff. I loved Hartfield. I don't know if you know about this.
Yeah.
I loved that stuff when I was young. Still love it, actually. But I don't want to do something like this. I want to do something more hidden. Now it's a different time, and people are much more aware of a lot of things. And I think in my music and my lyrics, I want to leave it more open so that people get their own brain running and make their, get little information, but they can adjust it to their own lives. This kind of thing, and not, you have to do this. But we have this one track with Malaria, actually called Kämpfen und Siegen und Sterben und Lieben, which has to do with the Brecht-Weil things, this political song stuff, and it's based on this demonstration, house occupations and stuff in Berlin. And I still really like it, I think it's a fantastic song, and I think I would love to do like a new mix of it or something, because I think it's a really good statement. But for me, it's, in my age, it's a little difficult to do this kind of thing. I don't know. I could take the old song, because I already did it. So we already did it. So I could take the old song and do something new out of it. Kämpfen und Siegen means fighting and winning. And it's about fighting and winning, and the fight on the streets, and the war is over, but it's not, blah, 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 all this kind of Rote Armee-Fraktion.
Yeah, so the message is still alive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I went, actually, since a long time, I went to demonstrations again against the right-wing parties here, because it's ridiculous. That's really got a lot of people going again, and that's great, because we don't need this shit.
Again.
You know, nobody. Yeah, we had it. And please, nobody needs this.
I agree. Cheers.
So, it's a good, very good beer. It's already beer time, it's 6 o'clock.
Coffee.
What time is it in your place?
Here, 13 o'clock.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, 1 p.m. there, and here we're noon here.
Yes.
Okay. We have 6.
Not lunch yet, but
we're on the way.
Yes.
Nice.
Das tägliche Brot, Routinen, Wiederholungen, Brotwerkstatt, das gute Brot, Sauerteig. Anstellen, gut, gehen lassen, vermischen, gehen lassen, Loops, Wiederholung, 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 Routinen, erfüllen, Leben, das tägliche Brot, Autolyse, zusammenführen, dehnen, falten, kneten, dehnen, falten, immer wieder, hin und her, wirken, einwirken, wirken, durchdringen, sich Zeit lassen, formen. Tägliches Brot, backen, essen, schlafen, trinken, träumen, Geduld, Struktur, Routine.
Thank you very much. We have 10 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Gerardo, your last question. Thank you, Gudrun.
Yeah, it was fun. That's nice.
I was wondering about that, since you were dealing with silence and the incorporation of it, and I'm curious about, and I love the associations you do with music to certain parts of the body and certain functions, and the thing that you played accordion when you were a kid, and you played bass, and you've been incorporating the voice as also as color, and mostly from the point of view of color, and since you said that you felt also a non-musician, your process is very similar to the one of Latin American artists.
Oh, really?
I was thinking about the case of Chilean artist Violeta Parra, who also, she did research on folklore and traditions. Then she used this material to write and perform her own songs. She started also painting and drawing and writing poetry. And she sort of embraced everything as the same expression.
One other aspect which we didn't talk about in my work is always like a little bit of fun part, the pop part and the glitter, a little bit of sparkle. I like to have a little bit of sparkle, not so, a little bit of sparkle. And pop is, I hate normal pop music, but some pop stuff I really like. Okay, I have one political pop song, and that's Baby, I Can Drive My Car in Saudi Arabia. I think that's it's a very nice political statement, and it's kind of poppy, it's more groove oriented, but it's like, okay, especially when I play it live, people get it. Okay, saying, I'm really thankful I can drive my car in Saudi. The emancipation or the freedom for women is, maybe in Germany it's kind of okay, but it isn't. But better than in some countries, it's much more difficult. I actually premiered the song in Saudi Arabia as a video for it, and I spoke to some women there, and they strangely, but not strangely, because they're not allowed to play music, and they do poetry, a lot of poetry, which I thought, yeah, great. And then they meet secretly, because women can meet together, but not, kind of, and then they read the forbidden poetry. I thought that was kind of cool, but they wanted to do music too, but, not so easy. So that's a political song. It's a little bit, it's not so obvious.
Yeah, and you draw inspiration from the Beatles song, Drive My Car?
It's a line. I mean, his line is, baby, you can drive my car, but she can, what is it? It's a little bit, a citat. It's not a cover version at all.
Right.
Because he says, like, she can drive his car, but I can drive my own car. It's a little bit of a different, that's the kind of the twist in it. Cover version, I would never have the allowance to do a cover version and change the text. No fucking way.
Right.
That's copyright. It's not supposed to be the Beatles cover. No.
Yeah, it's just like a quotation.
And at the same time, it's a quotation of the news that in Saudi Arabia, women can drive cars now. Wow.
Wow.
It's a little bit funny, but it's sad and political as well.
And it's interesting, you're not delivering the same opinions over and over. The same artist, when asked about plagiarism, he said that people that repeated themselves, or musicians that repeated themselves, were giving the same opinion over and over, as if audience is not capable of understanding the message. So that's why we love interviewing artists. We are artists ourselves, so it's very...
And you do a sound art as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
for reminding us why artists are so important in culture.
I think they are super important because they are the Überbau, we call it the overhead. You know, they can
Well, it seems that's our function to the tribe. That's our function on the tribe. Yeah. And also alerting them of what's going on and what would come on, or what would happen if things continue the same way. Yeah.
The last 2 minutes, I want to thank you very much, Gudrun, for being here in our radio show.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a real pleasure, and since you've been doing radio too, so we're glad you enjoyed it. So thank you so much for your work. Thank you for everything you've done, the way you've done it, and for the example you have provided to all of us.
That's very nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
And enjoy your beer.
It's great. It's Keller beer. Okay, cheers.
El ruido es el mensaje.
Vamos por más, dice la rana, escúchame, ¿eh? Esto recién empieza.
Was? Video stuff. Okay. There we go. Sunshine. I love the countryside by now.
You was born in a city?
I was born in a smaller city, in Celle. Yeah. And then I grew up in it's a village, but not countryside kind of thing, where they do, now this little town is booming because they do army stuff.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.